Hi guys, so today we are going to learn about parameterization using PyTest and Selenium. Okay, so in short, what is parameterization? Say I have to run my test case multiple times using different data parameters or using different input parameters. Taking a very simple example, maybe I want to run my login test using two set of credentials, a valid and an invalid one. So writing my test case two times would not sound so reasonable. Reason, I may have 10 set of data parameters or I may have 20 set of data parameters, right? So I won't consider writing my test case again and again with all the data sets. So here is where the parameterization comes into picture. Write your test case once and run it n number of times depending on how many number of times you want to run it, each time with a different set of data, right? Okay. Okay, so we'll quickly get started. Okay, so here is my test case from my previous video, which in which we have already learned like how do we set the basic fixtures and how do we run the basic Python test and everything. If you haven't gone through that video, I'll be providing a link in the description. Please go through it, and we will be proceeding with the same example today again. Okay, so here we saw last time that we have hard-coded this credentials, right? This admin and admin 123, right? Now, if I want to run my same login test case with a different data set, I would have to write it again, correct? But now we are not actually going to do it. I'm going to parameterize this test case. Okay, so for parameterizing, I said that we will be running it with different data set. So first question, where do I keep my data set? Okay, you can keep your data set in anywhere, like it may be Excel, it may be a notepad, it may be database. You can keep it anywhere. You can keep it in JSON format, you can keep it in XML format. For this tutorial, we have taken the Excel. Okay, so here is my Excel where I have kept my data set. Right now I have given only two set of data. For you, it can be 20 columns and 50 rows. That totally depends on the application. Right now, just for simplicity, I have provided the username and password column with a valid data set and with an invalid data set. Okay, so I would expect my test case to pick this data set, run, pass, then pick this data set, run, and then fail. Okay. Okay. So I'll close this now. Let's see. But before you proceed, we will need to read the Excel data, correct? So let's first understand how do we read the Excel data in Python. Okay. So for that, I'll quickly create a new class. Let me name it as test underscore read Excel data. Okay, so guys, in Python, we have a module named OpenPyExcel. Okay, this module would help you to read your Excel data. Now, how to install modules? Again, I have explained all of those in the previous videos, so you should get it there. Okay, the link will be there in the description. Please find it there. Okay, so I am directly starting with importing that module for me because I've already installed it. Okay, so this is the module. Now, let me create my function test underscore read data. Okay, so the first step that I would need to perform is I'll have to provide the path of my Excel file, correct? So path is equal to, right now I have kept the Excel in my desktop. So let me quickly get, okay, paste. Okay, so there I have text dot xlsx. Okay, so I have given the name of my, or sorry, I've given the location of my file. I'll have to, okay, if I see the error here, it's saying invalid escape sequence, correct? reason, I'll have to put double slash. Perfect. Fine. Now I will be initializing my workbook object. So my workbook would be openpyxl dot load workbook. Okay. And which workbook to load? Path I have already provided. So I'll pass the path variable. Okay. Now sheet. Sheet is equal to workbook dot get sheet by name. Okay. Now let us open this Excel once and see. Okay, the name of the sheet is sheet 1. So which sheet to see? Say check out sheet 1. Okay. Now first step, I'll need to find a number of rows and columns, correct? So rows should be equal to sheet dot max underscore row. Okay, this is the inbuilt function which you can directly use, and this will be returning you the number of rows in your Excel. Similarly, for columns, you have got a ready-made function saying sheet dot max underscore column, right? Let's just print the number of rows and columns and first check if it's really working. Print calls. Okay, let me open my command prompt. Okay, I already have it here. Um, okay, I'll maybe open a new one. Okay, I will navigate to my location. I have it within operations folder, so I come here. I run it as pytest -v-s, and the name of my file is test underscore read excel data.py, right? So I'm running it. Okay, so I see here it has printed 3 and 2. 3 rows with 2 columns. Okay, we see here we have 3 rows and 2 columns. It means it's getting it right. Correct? Okay, now let's try reading the entire Excel data. So for that we will need a for loop. So okay, this thing is not really required, so I'll just remove it. Okay, so for r in rows, for r in range, so I'll be iterating. Okay, so what is this line going to do? From 1, it means from I equals to 1 to I equals to number of rows that we have. Okay, so this variable r will be iterating from 1 to the number of rows. So in this example, we have rows as 3. So r will be ranging from 1 to 3. Correct? Okay. Within that, we'll be iterating within columns for C in range similar 1 to calls, right? Correct? Okay. So let me print the value. Print. Okay. So I'll be printing sheet dot cell. Which cell's value do I want? R and C, right? That means 0th row, 0th column, 0th row, first column, first row, 0th column, and so on. Correct? Dot value, right? Okay. But before running this, I want to see what is the error. Can't assign to operator. Okay, okay, sorry, guys. Shouldn't have given this. Okay, the brackets are not needed. Okay, but here's one thing. Uh, these things start like when we say rows or something, if we talk about iterations, it would always start from 0, right? Therefore, we will have to say if I want it to iterate 3 times, I'll have to say rows plus 1 so that it ranges from 1 to 4. Correct? The value of rows is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So it will range from 1 to 4. That means it will run for value 1, value 2, and value 3. Okay? Therefore, similarly, I'll have to do it for columns also. Columns is the value of columns was 2. Right? So 2 plus 1 is 3. So if I'm saying it to run till 3, it will be running for 1, starting with 1 and then 2. Okay? Okay. So let's see if it prints me the Excel values now. Let me quickly run it again. Okay. So we see here username, password, admin123, admin abcdef. That's the values, correct? Okay, great. But now guys, I do not want my this username password to get printed. Reason, these are the headers. I don't want my headers to be printed. That means I want to skip my first row. I don't want my data to read first row's data. I don't want my function to do that. Okay, so for that, what I'll be doing, I'll tell it don't go with first row, go with second row instead, right? So if I'm saying it go from second to the last, it will be skipping my headers row. Simple. So let's try again. Okay, we see here now, it is only reading my data sets. It's not reading the header row anymore. Correct? So we are done till here. Now, next thing. We are getting in string format. Right? This is done. But we want it in list format because we want this to pass to our test case as a parameterized rule. Okay, and that will take my data as a list of tuples. Okay, so my one row, see guys, one row, this should go as one set of data to my test case. Second row should go as my second set of data to my test case, right? So my one row will be one tuple, second row would be second tuple, and all these tuples combined would be together a list. Okay, so I'll quickly show you how do we do that. That's really very simple. Okay, okay. So what I'll be doing is I'll just create one empty list. Okay. Once done that, I don't want to iterate through my columns. Let me quickly just comment this. So what I'll be doing, I'll take two variables and I'll say I'm putting my username as sheet dot cell r comma 1 dot value. I'll explain this to you guys. Password is equal to sheet dot cell r comma 2 dot value, right? So now I'm iterating only rows. So what I'm saying, I'm into my second row. So second row, first column's value is my username. Second row, second column's value is my password, right? Now, as I've got my both the values, I'll simply put it within a tuple. Okay. So I'll create a variable called tuple and I will, tuples are always within the round brackets. Okay. So I'll simply put this within my tuple. Correct? And once I have it within my tuple, I will append it in my list. List dot append tuple. Okay, now this is done for the second row. Now I will go ahead, I will increment, it will become 3. Third row, first column, username, third row, second column, password. It will again create a tuple and append it in my list. Let me do one thing, let me print list here and see if my data is correctly getting populated or not. Okay, so let me run it once again. Okay, so we see here I've got a list of tuples and my each tuple contain my set of username and password. That means my one row have become my one tuples and all tuples together have become my list. Now I can pass this to my test case, correct? So what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to copy this function and I'm going to paste it here, right? Okay, why is it giving me an error? It's giving me an error because I haven't put an import statement here. So I'll quickly put an import statement. Okay, okay. So my error is gone. Awesome. Fine. What more do I need? Okay, this is showing irrelevant because it's no more needed. I have not used a columns variable anymore. Okay. I don't want to print the list. Rather, what I want to do right now is let the print be, but I want to return the list. Okay. Okay. And now I want my this test case to read the data before that. Okay, guys. Appending any test function with this test underscore makes it a test case. I don't want this to behave like a test case. Rather, I want it to behave just like a normal function. Okay, so I won't append test here. I'll just keep it read data to make it behave like a normal function. Okay, now I want to say this test case that, okay, listen, you need to read the data. You have to be a parameterized test case. So for that, we have to put the marker here saying pytest.mark.parameterize. Okay. Now, how many columns are you going to return to this test case? How many columns? Guys, please take care. I'm talking about columns here. I'm not talking about rows. How many columns of data? One row will be getting passed to my test case at one time, right? Now, guys, this thing which I'm talking, it's not relevant to Python. It's relevant to Python, Java, any language in which you are coding. Okay. Whenever you are doing the parameterization stuff, you need to take care that in one row, how many columns do you pass? Okay, so right now I'm passing two columns. What columns are they? Username and password. So I'll put a double quote and I will say I will be passing two columns, username and password. Okay, it's not mandatory that the name that you give here and here should be same. It's not the case. You can put it as anything. Okay. Just make it relevant so that it's easy to understand, right? Okay. Now, how are you going to get the data? Using my read data function. Okay. And then here I'll put up the variables that, okay, these are the variables which will store my data from this function. And then here I am not going to hard code this admin anymore. I'll be saying username and I'll be saying password. Okay. Okay. So what it will be doing, it will be calling this test function. It will read the username and password set and accordingly it will run my test case. So for the first set, it will enter the first row of data. For the second set, it will enter the second row of data. Okay, let me put the screenshot thing also from my earlier example. Okay, so I'll just copy this. This is the, okay, 1 second. Okay, I don't need this. Awesome. So these code lines will help me getting the screenshot of the failures in case it doesn't pass. So in case my assertion fails, I should get a screenshot. So this is my example for that. Okay, fine. So shall we run it, right? Okay, we'll quickly run it. I'll also put my, okay. Uh, I also want to generate reports now. Again, guys, even for generating reports, it's in the same video which I have posted last time. Please find it in the link description below. Okay, so it has collected two items with my both data sets. So let's see if it enters the data correctly or not. Okay, it took the first set of data now, and it was successfully able to log in. Okay, so the first one has passed, and now it should take the second one, right? Let's see. Okay, it has redirected to retry login page due to invalid set of credentials, right? Okay, so my test case failed, correct? Okay, so I'm seeing one failed and one passed. Let's see the reports. Okay, let's see what we see in the reports now. Okay, guys, we see here two tests, one pass, one fail, right? See, we see the parameters here that we have tested this test underscore valid login with two set of data. This one was pass. We see the logs here, and this one was fail. We see the failure reports here. Correct? Okay, guys, thank you so much for your time. Hope the video had helped you, and let me know for any questions. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.